She was framed for murder, until one detective risked everything to prove she was innocent. The blood on her hands. The gun was still warm in her hands when he found her. Detective Cole Mercer stood in the doorway of the abandoned warehouse, rain hammering the metal roof above like 1,000 angry fists. Lightning split the sky, illuminating the scene in front of him in stark, brutal clarity. A man lay dead on the concrete floor, blood pooling around his expensive suit. And kneeling beside him, hands trembling, dress torn and soaked through, was the most beautiful woman Cole had ever seen, holding the murder weapon. Their eyes met across the darkness. Welcome to Heartbound Ashes. If you love intense protector romance, emotional drama, and suspenseful twists, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You won't want to miss what happens next. Hers were wide, terrified, haunted by something far deeper than fear. Ocean blue and swimming with unshed tears, they held secrets he couldn't begin to guess. Her dark hair clung to her face in wet strands, and her chest heaved with panicked breaths that created small clouds in the cold November air. "Don't move," Cole said, his voice steady despite the way his heart hammered against his ribs. She didn't run. She didn't speak. She just stared at him like a trapped animal waiting for the final blow. Cole had been a detective for 12 years. He'd seen every kind of criminal, every shade of guilt and innocence. But something about this woman made every instinct in his body scream that nothing was as it seemed. "Put the gun down," he said, taking a careful step forward. Her fingers loosened. The weapon clattered to the floor. "Now step back from the body." She obeyed, moving like someone in a dream or a nightmare. Her legs wobbled, and for a moment Cole thought she might collapse. He rushed forward, catching her arm just as she swayed. The moment his hand touched her bare skin, something electric passed between them. She gasped, pulling back, but not before he felt it too. That inexplicable connection that had no business existing between a cop and a potential murderer. "What's your name?" he asked quietly. "Iris." Her voice was barely a whisper. "Iris Caldwell." The name hit him like a punch to the gut. Caldwell. As in Senator Marcus Caldwell, one of the most powerful men in the state. As in the family that owned half of downtown and had more political connections than the mayor himself. And the dead man on the floor? Cole recognized him now. Vincent Harlow, the senator's chief of staff and closest advisor. The man who'd been rumored to be engaged to Iris Caldwell just last week. "Jesus Christ," Cole muttered. The question that changed everything. "Did you kill him?" Cole asked, though he already knew what the evidence suggested. Iris looked at the body, then back at Cole. Her lips parted, and for a moment he thought she'd confess. Instead, she asked a question that shattered every assumption he'd made. "Would you believe me if I said I didn't?" Cole's training told him to cuff her, read her rights, call it in. But something in her eyes stopped him. It wasn't just fear. It was desperation. And beneath that, a flicker of hope, as if his answer actually mattered to her. "I don't know yet," he said honestly. She laughed, but it was a broken sound. "That's more than most people would say." Thunder rolled overhead. Cole glanced at the warehouse entrance, calculating. His partner was 3 minutes out. Backup maybe 5. He had a choice to make, and he had to make it now. "Tell me what happened. Fast." Iris wrapped her arms around herself, shivering. "Vincent called me here. Said he had evidence about my father, evidence that would destroy him. I thought I could reason with him." "Evidence of what?" "Crimes. Terrible things." Her voice cracked. "Things my father did that Vincent helped cover up for years. But Vincent wanted more money to keep quiet. And when my father refused, Vincent threatened to go public," Cole finished. She nodded. "He told me tonight that if I didn't convince my father to pay, he'd release everything. Photos, documents, recordings. He said my father's career would be over. His life ruined." Cole studied her face. "So you shot him?" "No." The word burst from her with desperate force. "When I got here, the gun was already on the ground. Vincent was arguing with someone on the phone. I picked up the weapon because I was scared. Then I heard a sound like a door slamming. Vincent turned, saw me holding the gun, and he just collapsed. There was blood everywhere, and I realized someone had shot him from behind. Through that window." She pointed to a shattered pane 30 feet away, partially hidden in shadow. Cole's mind raced. A sniper shot, which meant someone else was out there. Someone who'd framed Iris perfectly. Her prints on the gun, her alone with the body, her motive clear as day. Why didn't you run? Iris met his eyes. Because running makes you look guilty. And because I'm tired of running from things I didn't do. There was a story there. Pain layered beneath pain. Sirens wailed in the distance. Time was up. Listen to me very carefully, Cole said, making a decision that could cost him his badge or his life. When my partner gets here, you're going to tell him exactly what you told me. You're going to cooperate fully. And you're not going to mention that we had this conversation first. Understand? She nodded slowly, confusion and gratitude warring in her expression. Why are you helping me? Cole didn't have a good answer. He just knew that letting her face this alone felt wrong in a way that went bone deep. Because I believe you, he said. The partner's arrival. Detective James Reeves burst through the door, gun drawn, eyes scanning the scene. He was Cole's partner of 5 years, a good cop but a by-the-book one. Cole, you okay? I'm fine. Suspects secured. No weapon on her person, it's on the ground there. Reeves approached Iris, his expression hardening. Iris Caldwell. Well, Daddy's not going to like this. She says she didn't do it, Cole said carefully. Reeves snorted. They all say that. Especially rich girls who think money buys immunity. He grabbed Iris's arm roughly. You're under arrest for the murder of Vincent Harlow. You have the right to. Easy, Cole interrupted, his voice low and dangerous. She's cooperating. Something in his tone made Reeves pause. He looked between Cole and Iris, suspicion dawning. You two know each other? No, they said simultaneously. Reeves's eyes narrowed, but he said nothing more as he finished reading Iris her rights and cuffed her with slightly less force. As he led her toward the door, Iris glanced back at Cole. The look in her eyes was complex, fear yes, but also trust. Trust he hadn't earned and didn't deserve. And something else. A silent plea. Don't let them bury me alive. Cole watched her disappear into the rain, red and blue lights painting the wet pavement in harsh, alternating colors. His hands clenched into fists at his sides. Every instinct he had told him Iris Caldwell was innocent. But instinct wouldn't hold up in court. He needed evidence. He needed to find the real killer before whoever framed her made sure she never saw daylight again. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Cole answered. Mercer. A distorted voice spoke, cold and mechanical. Stay away from the girl, detective. Or you'll end up like Harlow. This isn't your fight. The line went dead. Cole stared at his phone, rain soaking through his jacket. Whoever killed Vincent Harlow was watching. They knew he'd been alone with Iris, which meant they'd been watching the warehouse the whole time. He looked up at the shattered window where the shot had come from, then at the surrounding buildings. Dozens of vantage points. Hundreds of hiding places. The killer could still be out there. And Cole had just made himself a target by choosing to believe a woman he'd met 5 minutes ago. But as he stood there in the rain, something fierce and protective ignited in his chest. Something that had nothing to do with duty and everything to do with the haunted look in Iris Caldwell's eyes. He pulled out his phone and dialed his most reliable contact. Marcus? It's Cole Mercer. I need a favor. A big one. And I need you to not ask questions. He was going to solve this case. He was going to prove Iris's innocence. And he was going to protect her. Even if it meant destroying his career and everything he'd built. Because something told him that saving Iris Caldwell might be the only thing that mattered anymore. But in the shadows of the warehouse, someone watched and smiled. The game had only just begun. Romance, emotional conflict, and secrets. The interrogation room. The fluorescent lights in the interrogation room buzzed like angry insects, casting harsh shadows across Iris's pale face. She'd been sitting there for 3 hours, hands still cuffed, her torn dress now covered by an oversized police department sweatshirt someone had thrown at her. Cole watched through the two-way mirror, his jaw tight with frustration. She's not talking, Reeves said beside him, arms crossed. Lawyers on the way. Probably some hotshot her father hired. She already told us what happened, Cole replied. Yeah, a convenient story with no witnesses and no proof. Reeves glanced at him. You're too invested in this, brother. I've seen that look before. Don't let a pretty face cloud your judgment. Cole wanted to argue, but Reeves wasn't wrong. There was something about Iris that had gotten under his skin in a way he couldn't explain. It wasn't just attraction, though God knew she was stunning even covered in blood and fear. It was the way she'd looked at him. Like he was her last hope in a world that had already condemned her. The door opened and Captain Sarah Brennan walked in, her expression grim. We've got a problem. What kind of problem? Cole asked. The kind where Senator Caldwell is downstairs with the district attorney, 3 lawyers, and enough political pressure to make this investigation disappear by morning. She looked at Cole. He wants his daughter released. Now. She's a murder suspect, Reeves protested. With no physical evidence tying her to the actual shooting, Brennan countered. Ballistics came back. The angle's all wrong for her to have fired the fatal shot. Someone shot Harlow from outside just like she said. Cole's heart jumped. So she's innocent. She's a person of interest who might have been present during a murder. That's different from innocent. Brennan's voice softened. But yeah, we can't hold her. Not with what we have. The gun had her prints but also smudged prints underneath. Like someone wearing gloves. This was a setup. Relief flooded through Cole, followed immediately by dread. If we release her, whoever framed her will try again. That's her father's problem now. Brennan handed him a file. Or it would be, except the senator just requested you specifically as her protective detail. Cole blinked. What? Apparently you made an impression. He wants someone outside his normal circle. Someone he can trust. Brennan's eyes searched his face. Can I trust you with this, Mercer? Because if you're compromised. I'm not compromised, Cole lied. He was absolutely compromised. He'd been compromised the moment Iris Caldwell looked at him like he was worth believing in. The senator's mansion. The Caldwell estate sat on 15 acres of manicured grounds, hidden behind iron gates and private security. Cole drove through the entrance just after midnight, Iris silent in the passenger seat beside him. She hadn't spoken since they'd left the station. Just stared out the window with hollow eyes, her hands folded in her lap where the cuffs had been. You okay? Cole asked quietly. She laughed, that same broken sound from before. My fiancé is dead. I'm the prime suspect in his murder. My father's career is on the verge of collapse. And someone out there wants me dead or in prison. She turned to look at him. No, Detective Mercer. I'm not okay. Cole, he said. Just Cole. Why are you really here, Cole? Her voice was soft, searching. You don't believe my father's story about wanting outside protection. Neither do I. He parked in the circular driveway, killing the engine. I'm here because someone tried to frame you for murder. And I don't like watching innocent people get crucified. How do you know I'm innocent? Because guilty people don't ask if you believe them. They tell you what you want to hear. He met her eyes in the darkness. You asked if I believe you. That's not the question of someone who's lying. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she blinked them back fiercely. Vincent was a monster. A charming, sophisticated monster. But I didn't kill him. Even after everything he did, I didn't. What did he do, Iris? She looked away. Things I can't prove. Things that would sound crazy if I said them out loud. Try me. Before she could answer, the front door of the mansion flew open. Senator Marcus Caldwell strode out, his silver hair perfect despite the late hour, his suit immaculate. But his eyes were those of a desperate man. Iris. He pulled her into his arms the moment she stepped out of the car. Thank God. Thank God you're safe. Cole watched the reunion carefully. The senator's relief looked genuine. But there was something else there too. Fear. The kind of fear that came from knowing too much. Senator, Cole said, extending his hand. Detective Mercer. Caldwell's handshake was firm, calculating. Thank you for bringing my daughter home. And for agreeing to protect her. About that, I need to know what we're protecting her from. The senator's expression hardened. Come inside. We need to talk. The truth in the study. The senator's study was all dark wood and leather, filled with books that probably cost more than Cole's annual salary. Caldwell poured himself a scotch with shaking hands, then poured one for Cole without asking. Vincent Harlow worked for me for 15 years. The senator began, his voice heavy. I trusted him with everything. My campaign, my finances, my secrets. He took a long drink. That was my first mistake. What was your second? Cole asked, believing I could control him. Caldwell sank into his chair. 3 years ago, Vincent discovered something about my past. Something that could destroy me politically. He's been blackmailing me ever since. What did he discover? The senator's eyes met Cole's. When I was a prosecutor 25 years ago, I buried evidence in a case. A wealthy developer had killed someone while driving drunk. I made sure the evidence disappeared. In return, he funded my first campaign for city council. Cole's stomach turned. You let a killer walk free. I was young, ambitious, and stupid. Caldwell's voice broke. But that man went on to kill 3 more people in accidents over the years. Those deaths are on my hands. And Vincent knew it. So Vincent demanded money to keep quiet. Money, influence, access. He bled me dry while pretending to be my loyal advisor. Caldwell's hands clenched around his glass. 2 weeks ago I told him I was done. That I'd rather confess everything publicly than keep paying him. And that's when he turned his attention to Iris, Cole said, the pieces falling into place. He told her he'd ruin me unless she married him. She refused. Said she'd rather I face the consequences than spend her life with a man she despised. Pride and pain warred in the senator's voice. That's my daughter. Brave and stubborn and too good for this corrupt world I built around her. Cole leaned forward. Did Vincent have the evidence with him tonight? I don't know. But if he did, and whoever killed him has it now. Caldwell trailed off. Then they can control you the same way Vincent did, Cole finished. Or they can destroy you whenever they want. A sound from the doorway made them both turn. Iris stood there, still in the oversized sweatshirt, her expression unreadable. How long have you been standing there? Her father asked. Long enough. She walked into the room, her movements stiff. Long enough to know that Vincent died because of choices you made 25 years ago. Long enough to know I almost went to prison for your sins. Iris. Don't. Her voice was cold, detached. I defended you. I believed you when you said Vincent was lying about what you'd done. I thought he was just trying to manipulate me. She laughed bitterly. Turns out he was telling the truth the whole time. Caldwell stood, reaching for her. Sweetheart, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry doesn't fix this, Dad. Sorry doesn't bring back the people that man killed. Sorry doesn't erase the fact that I was going to marry Vincent to protect a lie. You didn't know, Cole said quietly. Iris turned to him, her eyes blazing. But I should have. I should have seen through both of them. She looked at her father. I'm done protecting you. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to the district attorney myself and telling them everything. No. Caldwell's voice was sharp. Iris, if you do that. What? Your career ends? You go to prison. She shook her head. Good. Maybe that's what should happen. Maybe that's the only way to stop this cycle of corruption and lies. Cole stood, positioning himself between father and daughter as the tension in the room reached a breaking point. Everyone needs to calm down. Making decisions in the middle of the night, while emotions are high, is how people get hurt. People are already hurt, Iris said, but her voice had lost some of its fury. She looked exhausted, drained. I need to be alone. She turned and walked out, her footsteps echoing down the marble hallway. Caldwell slumped in his chair. She'll do it. She'll destroy everything to do what's right. He looked up at Cole. That's why I need you. Not to protect her from whoever killed Vincent. To protect her from herself. Cole's jaw tightened. I'm not here to stop her from telling the truth, Senator. Even if the truth gets her killed? The question hung in the air like a guillotine blade. What do you mean? Cole asked slowly. Vincent didn't work alone. He had partners. Powerful people who benefited from the information he collected on me and others like me. Caldwell's voice dropped to a whisper. If Iris goes to the DA, Those people will see her as a threat. And threats, detective, have a way of disappearing. The midnight conversation. Cole found Iris in the garden, sitting on a stone bench beneath an ancient oak tree. The moon painted everything in shades of silver and shadow. "You shouldn't be out here alone," he said. "Then it's a good thing you're here to protect me, detective." There was no warmth in her voice. He sat beside her, leaving careful space between them. "Your father's wrong, you know, about Vincent having partners." "Is he?" She turned to look at him. "Then who killed Vincent? Who set me up? Who sent you that threatening phone call?" Cole stiffened. "How did you know about that?" "I didn't. Until just now." She smiled sadly. "See? You're a terrible liar, Cole. That's why I trust you." "Iris. Someone's watching us right now, aren't they?" Her voice was calm, almost detached. "That's why you keep scanning the trees. That's why your hand keeps moving toward your gun." She was too perceptive. Too smart. "Yes," he admitted. "I think we're being watched." "Good." She stood, speaking louder. "Let them watch. Let them hear. I'm not afraid anymore." Cole stood too, gripping her arm. "You should be. Fear keeps you alive." "I've been afraid my whole life." Her eyes blazed in the moonlight. "Afraid of disappointing my father. Afraid of Vincent's threats. Afraid of being the pampered senator's daughter who didn't earn anything she had." She pulled her arm free. "But tonight, I held a gun in my hands and watched a man die. And you know what I felt? Relief. Because Vincent Harlow can't hurt anyone anymore." "Iris, that's not." "I'm glad he's dead, Cole." The confession burst from her like a dam breaking. "Does that make me a monster?" "Maybe. But at least I'm an honest one." Before he could respond, his phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "She talks too much. Make her stop or we will." Attached was a photo, taken from somewhere in the trees surrounding them. A sniper's vantage point. Cole grabbed Iris, pulling her behind the oak tree just as a bullet split the air where her head had been a second before. The crack of the rifle shot echoed across the grounds. "Down!" Cole shielded her body with his gun drawn, scanning for the shooter. Another shot. This one hit the bench where they'd been sitting, sending splinters flying. Iris was shaking beneath him, her hands clutching his jacket. "Cole! Don't move. Don't speak." He hit his radio. "Officer down at Caldwell Estate. Shots fired. Need backup now." 3 more shots in rapid succession, professional, calculated. Not meant to kill yet. Meant to terrify. Then silence. Cole waited, counting heartbeats, until he heard sirens in the distance. Only then did he help Iris up, keeping himself between her and the trees. Her face was white, her eyes huge. "They're really trying to kill me." "Not trying," Cole said grimly. "Warning. If they'd wanted you dead, you'd be dead." This was a message. "What message?" He showed her the text. Iris read it, then laughed, a wild, almost hysterical sound. "Well, I guess I know what happens if I go to the DA now." "You're not going anywhere," Cole said firmly. "Not until I figure out who's behind this." "And if you can't?" He met her eyes, saw the fear and defiance warring there, and made a decision that probably made him the biggest fool in history. "Then I guess we'll go down fighting together." But in the darkness of the estate grounds, the shooter lowered his rifle and smiled. Everything was going exactly according to plan. Resolution, ultimate protection, and suspenseful twist. The safe house. Cole wasn't taking any more chances. By dawn, he'd moved Iris to a safe house on the outskirts of the city, a nondescript apartment building that looked like 1,000 others. His captain had fought him on it, but the attempted assassination had changed everything. This was no longer just a murder investigation. It was a conspiracy that reached high enough to have professional killers on speed dial. Iris sat on the worn couch, wrapped in a blanket, staring at nothing. She'd been silent since the shooting, trapped in her own head. Cole set a cup of coffee in front of her. "You need to drink something." She ignored it. "I keep thinking about something Vincent said the night before he died." "What?" "He told me that my father wasn't the only one with secrets. That half the city's elite were compromised." She finally looked at Cole. What if he was building a network? Collecting dirt on everyone so he'd be untouchable? Then whoever has his files now has the keys to the kingdom, Cole said slowly. His phone rang. Reeves. Talk to me, Cole answered. You need to get back here. Now. Reeves's voice was urgent. We found Vincent's storage unit. You're not going to believe what was in it. I can't leave Iris alone. Bring her. She needs to see this too. Cole ended the call, his mind racing. Get dressed. We're going to the station. Is that safe? Iris asked. Safer than staying in one place too long. The evidence. The storage unit's contents had been transferred to a conference room at the precinct. Cole and Iris stood in the doorway, staring at rows of filing cabinets, boxes of hard drives, and dozens of labeled folders. Jesus, Cole breathed. Captain Brennan looked grim. Vincent Harlow wasn't just blackmailing your father, Miss Caldwell. He was blackmailing half the city. Judges, prosecutors, business leaders, even a few cops. She held up a folder. He had dirt on everyone. How? Iris asked, her voice hollow. Hidden cameras, wiretaps, hacked emails. The man was a professional spy. Reeves gestured to the computers being analyzed by tech specialists. And he kept backups of everything. Multiple copies, multiple locations. Cole's instincts were screaming. Then why is all this evidence here? If Vincent was this careful, why would it be this easy to find? Brennan frowned. What are you saying? I'm saying this feels like a trap. Cole started backing toward the door. We need to. The explosion ripped through the building's west wing. The force threw Cole and Iris backward into the hallway. Alarms shrieked. Smoke poured from the conference room. Through the chaos, Cole heard screaming, running footsteps, gunfire. Move! He grabbed Iris, pulling her toward the emergency exit. Behind them, armed men in tactical gear flooded the building. Not police. Mercenaries. A bullet whizzed past Cole's head. He returned fire, dropping one attacker, then another. But there were too many. The garage. Reeves appeared beside them, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. This way. They ran through smoke and chaos, past wounded officers and burning desks. Cole's only focus was keeping Iris alive. She stumbled and he caught her, practically carrying her the last 20 yards. They burst into the parking garage just as an SUV screeched around the corner. Cole raised his gun, but the window rolled down to reveal Captain Brennan in the driver's seat. Get in. Now. They piled into the vehicle. Brennan floored it, tires screaming as bullets sparked off the concrete around them. What the hell just happened? Reeves shouted. Someone just destroyed all of Vincent's evidence, Cole said, his arm around Iris as she shook violently. They blew up the entire police station to cover their tracks. Not the entire station, Brennan corrected grimly. Just the records room, IT department, and evidence lockers. Surgical strike. Professional. How many casualties? Cole asked, dreading the answer. Too many. Brennan's hands clenched the wheel. Whoever's behind this just declared war. Iris finally spoke, her voice eerily calm. I know who it is. Everyone turned to stare at her. What? Cole demanded. I figured it out. In the conference room before the explosion, I saw a file. My mother's name was on it. Her eyes were distant, remembering. My mother died 5 years ago. Officially, it was a heart attack. But she was only 43 and healthy. I never believed the story. Iris, Cole said gently. What are you saying? Vincent killed my mother. The words came out flat, emotionless, like she'd moved beyond grief into something darker. He killed her because she found out about his blackmail operation. And my father. She turned to look at Cole. My father helped him cover it up. The silence in the SUV was deafening. That's why your father wanted you protected, Brennan said slowly. Not from Vincent's partners. From the truth. Where are we going? Iris asked. Somewhere safe while we regroup, Brennan replied. No. Iris's voice turned to steel. We're going to my father's estate. Now. That's not, Cole began. My father has a private safe in his study. I know the combination. If Vincent kept copies of everything, and if he had evidence about my mother. She looked at each of them. My father will have kept his own insurance. He always does. Whatever Vincent had on him, He'll have reciprocal evidence. Cole wanted to argue. Every instinct said this was a terrible idea. But Iris was right. They needed leverage. They needed the truth. Okay, he said. But we do this my way. My rules. The second things go sideways, we're out. Iris nodded. Agreed. The confrontation. The Caldwell estate was quiet when they arrived. Too quiet. Cole drew his weapon, gesturing for everyone to stay behind him. They moved through the house in tactical formation, clearing rooms. The study door was open. Senator Caldwell sat behind his desk, a gun in his hand. Dad. Iris rushed forward, but Cole caught her. Senator, put the weapon down, Cole ordered. Caldwell looked up. His eyes were red, defeated. You know, don't you? You figured it out. That Vincent killed Mom? Iris's voice broke. Yes. We know. I tried to protect you from that knowledge. Caldwell's hand trembled. Everything I did was to protect you. By covering up murder? Cole's voice was cold. By keeping my daughter alive. Caldwell shouted. Vincent said if I went to the police, he'd kill Iris too. He said he'd make it look like an accident, just like with her mother. What was I supposed to do? Tell the truth, Iris said quietly. You were supposed to tell the truth, Dad. The truth would have gotten you killed. So instead, you let a murderer control our lives for 5 years. Tears streamed down Iris's face. You let me get engaged to the man who killed my mother. You were going to let me marry him. I was buying time. Caldwell's composure cracked completely. I was looking for evidence, building a case. I was going to expose him, I swear. When? Cole demanded. After the wedding? After he killed Iris too. Caldwell's silence was answer enough. The safe, Iris said. Open it. Iris, please. Open it or I will. With shaking hands, the senator opened the wall safe. Inside were dozens of files, flash drives, photographs. The mirror image of Vincent's collection. Cole began sorting through them. This is enough to bring down half the city's power structure. Judges taking bribes, cops on the take, business deals that violate about 50 laws. He looked up. Senator, this is enough to put you away for life. Why keep it? Insurance, Caldwell said simply. If Vincent ever tried to destroy me, I'd take everyone down with me. Mutually assured destruction. Except Vincent's dead, Reeves pointed out. So who took his shot that night? Who's been trying to kill Iris? I don't know, Caldwell admitted. Vincent had partners, but I never knew their identities. He kept that secret even from me. A voice from the doorway made them all freeze. That's because Vincent's partner was me. Captain Brennan stood there, her gun pointed directly at Iris. The final betrayal. Time seemed to slow. Cole's mind raced, connecting pieces that suddenly made horrifying sense. You, he breathed. You've been behind this the whole time. Brennan smiled coldly. Vincent and I were partners for 10 years. He collected the dirt. I provided police protection and buried evidence when needed. It was a perfect arrangement. But you killed him, Iris said. Why? Because he was sloppy. Emotional. He wanted to marry you, Iris. Not for blackmail, but because he'd actually fallen in love. Brennan's laugh was harsh. Love makes people weak. Makes them do stupid things like keep evidence that could destroy their partners. So you framed Iris, Cole said, his hand slowly moving toward his weapon. Don't. Brennan's gun didn't waver. I will shoot her. The plan was simple, kill Vincent, frame Iris, and in the chaos take control of all the blackmail material. I'd run the network myself without a weak link. But we found the storage unit, Reeves said. Because I wanted you to. I needed to consolidate all the evidence in one place, the police station, so I could destroy it all at once. Brennan's smile widened. And it worked beautifully. Every copy Vincent made, every backup file, all gone. Except for what's in that safe. She gestured with her gun. Senator, be a dear and put everything from the safe into that bag. We're going to take a little drive. You won't get away with this, Cole said. I already have. The explosion at the station killed everyone who knew about Vincent's operation. The tech specialists, the analysts, all dead. You four are the only loose ends left. You're going to kill us, Iris said flatly. Only if I have to. Ideally, the senator turns over his insurance files, I disappear into a very comfortable retirement, and everyone keeps their mouths shut. But if that doesn't work? Brennan shrugged. Well, there are always accidents. Cole's mind raced. Brennan was standing in the doorway, the only exit. Behind them, windows continued 10:40 overlooked a 15-foot drop. They were trapped. But then he noticed something. Iris had moved slightly to the left, and Caldwell was inching toward his desk drawer. They were going to make a move. Cole needed to give them an opening. What about my mother? Iris asked suddenly. Did you help Vincent kill her too? Brennan hesitated, and in that split second of distraction, everything happened at once. Caldwell grabbed a second gun from his desk drawer. Iris dove behind the heavy oak desk. Cole drew his weapon and fired. Brennan was fast. She'd been expecting something, but not fast enough. Cole's bullet hit her shoulder, spinning her around. Reeves tackled her and her gun went flying. But Brennan wasn't done. With terrifying strength, she threw Reeves off, grabbed a letter opener from the side table, and lunged at Iris. Cole fired again. This time the bullet hit center mass. Brennan collapsed, blood spreading across her uniform. Her eyes found Cole's, shocked and disbelieving. You're a terrible detective, Mercer, she rasped. Too honest. Too stupid. Too. She died before finishing the sentence. The aftermath 3 months later. The coffee shop was warm and inviting, a stark contrast to the cold November rain outside. Cole sat by the window watching people hurry past with umbrellas and purpose. Is this seat taken? He looked up to see Iris, her dark hair pulled back, wearing jeans and a simple sweater. She looked different. Lighter. Like a weight had been lifted. Please. He gestured to the chair across from him. She sat, ordering a latte when the waiter appeared. For a moment they just looked at each other. I heard your father took the plea deal, Cole said finally. Iris nodded. 7 years. He'll be eligible for parole in 4 if he cooperates fully. Her voice was steady. It's more than he deserved. Less than justice demanded. But it's what the DA offered in exchange for the evidence that brought down 47 corrupt officials. How are you doing? She paused, choosing her words carefully. I'm learning to breathe again. To exist without fear. To trust that the world isn't entirely built on lies. That's good. I started therapy, she continued. And I'm taking classes at the community college. Psychology. I think I want to help people who've been through what I went through. Abuse, manipulation, family trauma. You'd be good at that, Cole said honestly. They sat in comfortable silence as her latte arrived. Finally, Iris spoke again. I never thanked you. Properly. You don't need to. Yes, I do. She met his eyes. You believed me when no one else did. You protected me when you had every reason to walk away. You. Her voice caught. You made me believe I was worth protecting. Worth saving. Cole's throat tightened. Iris. I know we can't be together, she said quickly. Not now. Maybe not ever. I have too much healing to do. Too much rebuilding. She reached across the table, placing her hand over his. But someday when I'm whole again, I'd like to buy you coffee. Like this. And maybe we could start over. He turned his hand, lacing their fingers together. I'd like that. No protector. No victim. Just 2 people getting to know each other. Just 2 people, he agreed. She smiled, a real smile, the first he'd seen from her. And it was like watching the sun break through storm clouds. They sat there for an hour talking about everything and nothing. About her plans, his cases, the weather, books they'd read. Normal things. Healing things. When they finally stood to leave, Iris hesitated at the door. Cole. Yeah. That night in the warehouse when you asked if I killed him. You said you didn't know yet if you believe me. Do you know now? He smiled. I think I knew right then. I was just too scared to admit it. Scared of what? Of caring too much about a stranger I just met. Of breaking every rule I built my career on. Of feeling something I hadn't felt in years. And now, she asked softly. Now I'm not scared anymore. She kissed him then, soft, sweet, full of promise and possibility. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. "Someday," she whispered. "Someday," he agreed. They walked out into the rain together, and for the first time in a very long time Cole felt like everything was going to be okay. Epilogue. The photograph. 6 months later, in a luxury hotel suite overlooking the city, a man sat in shadow studying a photograph. The image showed Cole and Iris walking together, laughing, clearly happy. The man smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. He picked up his phone and dialed. "She's happy now," he said when the call connected. "Protected. Safe. In love probably." And the voice on the other end was impatient. "And happy people make the best targets. They have something to lose." The man set down the photograph, his smile widening. "Vincent's network wasn't destroyed. I made sure of that. All those files Brennan thought she eliminated? I have copies of every single one. What do you want?" "What I've always wanted. Control. Power. And now that Detective Mercer has eliminated my competition." The man laughed. "Now it's my turn." He hung up and picked up the photograph again, studying Iris's smile. "Sleep well, Miss Caldwell," he murmured. "Enjoy your happiness while it lasts. Because the real game is just beginning."